Welcome to the Immigrant's Way podcast with the immigration attorney Margaret W. Wong with over 40 years of experience. Enjoy.
Hey, my name is Margaret Wong, and today's topic is investment visa. As I said earlier, there are two types of investment visa. One is for the green card, which is the EB-5. Another type is what we call the E-2. Actually, there's another type, but we are still testing it. It's called the Entrepreneur Parole Program, where you can parole in, but that's not a green card. It's not even a non-immigrant. I mean, it's a non-immigrant, but it's really not something. I mean, it's just a parole. So for now, today's topic is E-2. So what is an E-2 visa? E-2 visa is a treaty visa that America signed with the country. Japan have E-2, Taiwan have E-2, Colombia have E-2. So there's a list. Where do you find that list? You can find it under uscis.gov or USDHS, which is Department of Homeland Security.gov. All you say is, what are E-2 countries? There are two types of E-visa. One is E-1 and E-2. E-1 is substantial trade. So for example, I just worked on some cases with some Argentinians. They have a lot of businesses in Argentina, but they really do not want to invest in America. Or my case shows that they invested in some serious credit charge companies in China to buy their machine to be imported to America. So the machine, they pay the Chinese company, but they only have a lease in America using those machines to produce what they need to produce, credit cards, a toy or something like that. So those are E-1 visa, not E-2, because E-2, you have to invest in America. There's really no minimum. In the olden days in Mexico, you can get away with 25,000, 50, 60,000. Now in Mexico, they need 120, 150,000, maybe 100. The word is substantial. So what is substantial investment? That means that at least 95% of your investment should go into at least 51% of the investment. So for example, you want to invest in a restaurant. The restaurant is at least $500,000. You're only buying 91%. You have to buy, it cannot be joint. It cannot be 50-50. Whoever buys 50-50 you have to have control, which means that it should be 51. There's an exception to 50-50, but it makes the job more difficult. So I always advise people on 51. So 51% of the whole restaurant is at least 200 and let's assume 80,000. So substantial and marginality and source of funds have to apply to at least 95% of the 51%. So 95% of the 280,000, you should at least show some sort of risk capital. It has to be risk capital, substantial. So for example, I have $300 US in my bank, all right? That includes selling my house, selling my store, selling. That's not enough because immigration wants to see, aside from the investing in this business, how are you surviving in America? You need to rent a house, you need to rent a car, you need to support your children going to school, because if they're E-2, they can go to public school, but if they're only on tourist visa, they have to go to private school because America doesn't want tourist visa to go to public school. So these are all considerations on marginality, substantiality. So we have to make sure we have enough money spent enough, because a lot of times, for example, I'm going to buy a company car, but personally, my wife and I would drive it. Immigration may raise it. Is that a company car? Because it goes into the company investment of the 120, 150,000. Of course, we want that investment to be high to qualify. But on the other hand, if the family also drives it, it should be a family car. Otherwise, how does your wife drop or you drop the kids to school? How do you go buy groceries? So these are all little things. But the most important thing on e-visa is source of funds, because America doesn't want all these mafia companies, these drug companies is laundering money and guns and stuff like that. So they really check your source of funds. All right. So we have cases where an e-visa person already got the green card, but then he can sell his e-visa business to his brother or his family. But then they do check the brother's money to see how did the money get the source of funds to buy even a family business, even though it's a brother, right? I could have given him the business. You can't do that. So that's an e-visa. So again, there's two types, is E1, E2. There's no definition of minimum, the definition of substantial. So what is substantial? It depends on the investing. I have some people, some who actually paid like $500,000 on a piece of land. They want to build a motel on it. So the total investment is $3 million. You don't need to invest all $3 million in cash. So you have to divide how much is the goodwill on the piece of property, how much is the building of the hotel, how much is building like the 60 rooms, 60 beds, how much are you going to do a gas station outside or just pure parking lot. So that's always a business plan for the e-visa. But if you invest all that money and could hire more than 10 people, you might as well do a direct investing into an EB5. So that's when these are cases you need a lawyer to really look at the plan for you and not just tell a lawyer, oh, I have this money, I want to invest it. Let the lawyer macro manage the case for you and see, should we do EB5? Because EB5 is a green card. But E2 is only a non-immigrant visa, but E2 is faster. E2, it takes about 3 months, 6 months to get approval. EB5 takes 2.5 years. In the meantime, how are you going to stay in America? Or do you want to go home and wait for the visa and come back? We have cases where a Chinese parent, she already invested in EB5 program. She's worried, each time she comes, she's worried about denied entry because she has a good tourist visa. Her son is going to private school here learning music because her son is an amazing pianist. So how could she go back and forth, watch over the high school kid? In the meantime, make sure she's not denied entry. In the meantime, wait for the long line for the EB5. So these are all not simple questions, but that's what a lawyer like us do. It's not just to fill out a form to do EB5 or fill out a form to do a family petition. It's planning the whole macro system to see how could we accomplish the client's wishes to accompany the child to go to a private school, to pay more than $60,000 a year on tuition, pay $900,000 to wait in line for EB5, but in the meantime, travel back and forth, and not be denied entry. Okay, my name is Margaret Wong, and I'm here to help you answer your immigration questions. So listen to us, follow us, whatever questions you have, call us, and I'll try to respond.